Hey guys, and welcome to Crusher Convo, where we are crushing the conversation one episode at a time. Today is the second anniversary of Crusher Convo, and I'm going to celebrate by celebrating our favorite doctor, Beverly Crusher. I had done something similar for Beverly Crusher Day last year, but since season one is no longer available, I thought to bring it back and just show why we love Beverly Crusher and just highlight those moments that we cherish so much. So let's go ahead and get this party started, shall we?
It's candle time, birthday boy.
Good luck.
So here are some fun facts about Crusher Combo. So far we have 44 episodes, which is including this one. We have 12,000 views on YouTube and almost 5,400 downloads on, between season one and season two on any podcast app that you like to listen. Me ramble about Beverly Crusher on. I did make it to 150 subs on YouTube. I was hoping to get to 150 by the second anniversary, and thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So I'm very excited about that. I was also honored to have 4 interviews with the amazing Dr. Trek, Larry Nemeczek, who I do have a segment here, and we'll see a segment about him in just a second. And of course, I had an interview with John Billingsley, who played Phlox on Star Trek Enterprise. Dayton Ward, who's one of the best Star Trek authors out there in the Litverse. Of course, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I keep calling it expanded universe, but you guys get the picture. And of course, I recently sat down with Aaron Walke to discuss Star Trek Prodigy. They're all wonderful human beings. I'm so honored and feel so blessed to be able to have sat down with them and have a chat and just talk about Star Trek and talk about Beverly Crusher. And so, yeah, it was just an honor. I can't even describe how exciting it was to be able to do that. Now, of course, I got to meet Gates a couple of times. I've been to Vegas twice, and I also saw her at FanX in Salt Lake last year. And I also met Ed Spilliers, who plays, of course, Jack Crusher. And I hope, Ed, that you love the Crusher Combo mug that I gifted you last year at Vegas. Haven't met Will, unfortunately, but hopefully one day, I might be able to see him and, add him into the little family. You could see over here. There's Ed's hiding back here. But yeah, so they of course just are amazing, and the Crusher family is the best in Star Trek, in my opinion, of course, and I will die on that hill. So I guess now that we're done with the fun facts of Crusher Combo, we'll go ahead and get this started. Now, I did ask fellow fans to vote on certain subjects and to tell me why they love Beverly. And so first off, we're going to do with our tricorder rating.
My tricorder.
So first off, I asked fans to vote for the best character trait of Beverly. Your options were going to be mother, doctor, friend, or mentor. Again, I did something similar last year with Bev Crusher Day. Again, season one is no longer available, but I did keep a couple of videos from that day because I had a couple of other podcasts come and join me. Unplanned Trek, I believe, had Mother. It's Got Star Trek had Mentor, and Green Shirt, a newbie's trek to the next generation, had Doctor. I still have those on the YouTube page. Please watch them. They are fabulous, especially because Cameron did an amazing intro with his Doctor segment. You have to watch it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and see who won, shall we?
Getting massive somatal physical failure.
2 cc still activating.
Data, get that beam back.
There's severe fluctuations in the isocortex. Synaptic responses are failing.
Begin full cardiac induction.
Blood pressure is dropping rapidly. 70/20.
Data, you've got to reestablish that beam.
I am attempting to do so, Doctor.
Losing response in the isocortex.
Cortical stimulators. Start at 10%.
The beam is fully restored, Doctor.
Blood pressure up to 90/40. And rising.
Isocortical functions are stabilizing. Vital signs are approaching normal.
Captain,
What can I do to help?
just help with the others.
They're fine, they're stable. I don't like what I'm seeing here. Shaw, are you having trouble breathing? Does this hurt? What about this? Now. He's bleeding internally.
No, I ran the imaging scan.
Imaging doesn't always pick up delayed bleeding from concussive injuries. We need to work on this. Jack! Get him on his side. Go.
So, yeah, there was 47 votes total. Mother got 17%, doctor got 45, friend got 28, and mentor got 10%. I think one of the things about Beverly that we love as a doctor is just her compassion. She does this because she has just a love of helping people. And of course, we all know that she learned that from her mother, or her grandmother. I'm sorry. She learned that from her grandmother. And, it was something that started at an early age when she survived a planetary disaster with Arvada 3. So, yeah, I think you can just tell how she is gun ho of helping no matter who it is. And of course, part of the reason why Beverly left Picard was because I think she was just tired of him always being in danger and him being on her table. Part of the reason, I know there's more to it, but I think that has to really hurt in the long run there. But yeah, I think Doctor is definitely important. I think her being a friend, even to Deanna and Riker, I mean, they were very, very close. And of course, she was a friend to Picard, even though they had their feelings for each other. Mentor isn't something that people think very much when it comes to Beverly. I mean, they do. Like when you say Beverly's a mentor, they're like, absolutely. But the first thing that comes to mind is True Q with Amanda. I think she was very motherly to Amanda, right? And she wanted to help Amanda even before she found out that she was a Q. She just has this need of helping people, especially young people. And I think, especially in that episode, because she was missing Wesley, it was very easy for her to just, want to be there for Amanda, especially after Amanda figured out she was a Q. So yeah, I think those are also very important things. And of course, her being a mother, that's huge. I think, just watching TNG and Picard, and now just a little bit from Prodigy, Beverly and her sons are her life, and she would do anything for her children. As much as she does not want to lose them, especially because she basically lost Wesley to the Cosmos. She let him go to do what he needed to do and to be who he needed to be, and that's just a really good image of what a mother is, especially for what all the stuff that Beverly went through, losing her parents at a very young age and not having any siblings. She really didn't have a lot of family. I do, love to see that Beverly was not only the first CMO that Star Trek had on these series, but she was also the first parent. I don't think there was ever a parent that was a senior officer or running her own department. So she definitely represented a lot of people, and people, the fans, resonated with her. So very, very important. Love it. So yeah, the next question that I had was favorite Next Generation episode. I gave you guys 4 options because I figured if I asked for you guys' favorite, there would be 10 million options and I wouldn't know where to choose from. So I picked the 4 best that I think are the best of Beverly Crusher, which was Remember Me, The High Ground, Suspicions, and Cause and Effect. Now, of course, not a lot of people think Cause and Effect is a Beverly episode, but it kind of is, guys, because she was very pivotal in helping to get them out of that whole time loop thing. Groundhog Day that they were going through, and she was the one that was really noticing the problems. So, it was a close race between two of these episodes, but one did outshine the other. So, let's see who the winner is.
What date did I report on board?
Stardate 41154, 1400 hours, 3 minutes.
That sounds about right. Computer, is there more than one USS Enterprise?
This vessel is the 5th starship to bear the name USS Enterprise. It is currently the only one in service.
What is the primary mission of the Starship Enterprise?
To explore the galaxy.
Do I have the necessary skills to complete that mission alone?
Negative.
Then why am I the only crew member? Aha, gotcha there.
That information is not available.
I re I had to do that scene just because her arguing with the computer was just it's so funny. Um, so best TNG episode. So there was 63 votes. A lot of you guys voted on this one. Remember Me got 41%. High Ground and Suspicions tied at 13, and then Cause and Effect was 33%. So definitely close. Um, Cause and Effect is a very good overall TNG episode. It really is a group effort in a lot of cases. I think it's more Beverly, Geordi, Data heavy versus, Troy didn't really have a lot, Picard didn't really have a lot, Riker sort of, but it definitely screamed just I don't know. It's funny because when you think of Groundhog Day or something of the day repeating itself, you don't really think sci-fi, right? Like I kind of think of the episode. There's a couple episodes actually that come to mind. Xena did one called oh shoot, I can't even remember the name of it. But Xena did an episode, and it was one of my favorites, which is sad because I can't remember the episode right now. But they did a really good story about she was trying to break the cycle, right? Trying to get the day to start over again. X-Files did one called Monday, and that one was also very, very good. And you when you have to repeat the same scenes over and over again, you really have to do it very carefully. Otherwise, people are going to lose interest, right? And Cause and Effect is one of those episodes. It did it very, very well. And of course, it is a Jonathan Frakes directed episode. And so that's just a highlight to add to it. I think one of the things is, Jonathan just had a certain way to capture the audience. No matter how he angled the camera, no matter how like the zoom in, like especially like when Beverly realized like she's having a deja vu of something when they're about to blow up, that zoom into her face was so perfect because it was that oh crap, like the oh crap moment, we're about to die, something bad's about to happen, and there's nothing I could do about it. So that's why I think Cause and Effect is a very great episode to have. Of course, Suspicions and the High Ground do have their faults. However, Beverly was not one of them. And I think the High Ground, though, is definitely a very well written, very well done episode. I know there was, some controversy because it's about terrorism. So, that happened. But with Suspicions, there were some questions about how things had happened. Why was she so obsessed in trying to figure out this murder and all this stuff? And, sure, fine, I get it. Why did Guinan care or help her out? Like there's a few questions out there that I've seen fans ask when it comes to Suspicions. But with Remember Me, everyone always talks about that episode. And this is where I wanted to go ahead and bring up this segment. So, okay, guys, this is my Nema Check It Out segment of the podcast. And so here's a little snippet in Larry Nemechek's book, which is the Next Generation Companion. I have version 2, I believe. He has like 3 different versions. Let me see here. Okay, so it says here, We also learn more about Beverly's background, including the fact that she interned with Dr. Quace only 15 years ago. In other words, after Wesley was born. She repeats her reoccurring opening line to Picard when they are both alone on the bridge, which I believe because he mentioned Arsenal Freedom and the High Ground, which was Jean-Luc, I have something to tell you, and then doesn't get to say it. Now, it says McFadden performed all her own stunts for the swirling vortex effect sequence, including the most outlandish maneuver when she appears to be sucked out of a horizontal by the vortex while clutching the back of a chair. Rob Legato had a chair mounted on the wall, and McFadden hung down out of the chair. Legato used compressed air machines and other devices to animate the scene. The footage was then matted in at a 90-degree angle. Only days later, after this strenuous shoot, McFadden learned that she was pregnant. That's one way to find out. So yeah, it's a really good episode overall. I mean, when we're learning about the warp bubble, we see the Traveler again. This is kind of where we see, definitely Picard saw, and so did Geordi. Wesley was phasing in and out with the Traveler, trying to bring his mother back. And those are some hard scenes to do. I mean, when you're talking about she was alone, like Gates was alone, not having half of her scenes with anybody. It was just her and the camera. And I think she did it brilliantly. There's no fault to this episode at all. I mean, maybe there's some science faults, but I don't get into that. That's just whatever. It's technobabble, guys. Like what, it's fine. As long as it tells a good story, I don't care. So Remember Me always goes down as one of the best. And of course, she has her famous line of, if there's nothing wrong with me, then there's something wrong with the universe, and it's kind of true. We kind of feel that way sometimes. But yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that Remember Me won, but it also doesn't surprise me that Cause and Effect was a close second. And just so you know, guys, just popped in my head. Xena episode, been there, done that. Season 3, really good episode. Go watch it. Okay, so the final question I asked was favorite Picard episode. Now, we were thrilled to see Beverly back in the flesh. We did see a little snippet of her in an episode called Kobayashi, which was in season 1 of Prodigy, where she was a hologram character. But to see Beverly back, right? Just to see her back in action, telling these stories. Picard is a much darker show than TNG, and to see her really just eat up these scenes, it was so great to see. So, one of the things is I gave you guys 4 options that I thought were her best episodes, and there was a tie between 2 of them for the winner. But since I actually already showed a clip to one of these episodes, I thought I would show a clip to the other one. So here are the winners.
Doctor, I didn't have time to work on the weapons system, so you're gonna have to do it manually.
Torpedoes away, locking phasers and returning fire.
A lot's happened in the last 20 years.
So, of course, 17 Seconds and The Last Generation tied at 45% out of only 29 votes. There wasn't as much votes with this one. But between Dominion, I was very surprised, though. I think, here's the thing. No Win Scenario, I think as a standalone episode, Star Trek episode, top notch. Very well written, very well directed. Thank you, Frakes. I think it just screams sci-fi. Okay. And of course, Beverly was pivotal in saving their lives. So that's also makes it important. Did I think it really fit with the storyline? Not really. It was kind of a filler episode in my opinion. It was just them trying to get out of the situation, but it wasn't a bad episode. It was a great episode. Everyone loves this episode. So maybe in the whole Beverly aspect, that's why not many people voted for it, but no one scenario. Just an overall amazing episode. And of course Dominion, and I kind of mentioned Dominion just because um everyone talks about her scene with Picard in sick bay in 17 seconds, and it's true. Those those scenes were Emmy worthy, which still makes me a little sour that she was snubbed. I guess I could understand the Emmys; those are really hard to get, but I was really disappointed she was snubbed for a Saturn Award. I don't know what this girl's got to do to get nominated, but she did fantastic in my opinion. And but I really loved her scenes with Vadict, with Amanda Plummer in the sick bay scene in Dominion. She just went toe to toe with her, and it was brilliant. Like, we didn't need Sir Patrick Stewart in the scene. They were holding their own just fine. Not that I didn't mind Patrick's scenes, obviously, but I think these, like I said earlier, she's just was eating up this dialogue. She was eating up these scenes, the stuff that was being thrown at her. She gave 110%, and made it it just made it fun. It was just so great to see her. And like I've said before, I was totally spoiled as a new Star Trek fan loving Beverly Crusher. I'm getting all this content, right? Like back and forth, left and right. I can't keep up. But for fans who have waited for her for years, what a treat. Absolute treat. And it's just absolutely amazing to have Gates back, and not only have her back in a Star Trek form, but we're getting her in Marvel, guys. Like she's an X-Men, and I'm I'm still giddy over that whole part. It's such a great time to be a Gates fan, right? So yeah, I think overall these were little tough questions for you guys. I'm glad I did it in poll form just so you had to only choose one. But yeah, they were very great picks. I had fun clipping those clips there for you guys. But I did have one question for you guys. And so here is
Any for your thoughts?
so here you go, guys. It is the favorite Beverly moments. I think I almost broke the internet, or I almost broke the Bev heads, is basically what happened. I asked what your favorite Beverly moment was, and you guys couldn't answer me. You guys just kept saying all of them, which is the right answer. Like, you're not wrong. I think though, for this aspect, I really needed some moments, but some of you pulled through and you guys helped me out, so I appreciate that. So here are some moments that was brought to my attention. So of course, we have teaching Data to dance in Data's day. We have badass Bev fight scene in the beginning of the Next Generation, being a Borg Slayer in the Last Generation, which is where my lovely clip came from. The final Crusher kiss and All Good Things, which, fun fact, guys, that kiss no longer exists because he completely saved humanity. It erased that whole timeline, that part of the timeline. So only he remembers, and I'm pretty darn sure he did not tell her. Of course, Bev tripping and chewing the gum in the big goodbye. We got to see Gates's comedy chops in that scene in the police station. The sexual tension in the Naked Now, another comedic scene, which, another fun fact, that was her audition scene. And Gates said she picked it because she thought Beverly was the comedy character of the show. And I'm pretty sure she was highly disappointed, but not so much because Beverly did have some great funny moments, and it was all because of Gates. So thank you. Both sickbay scenes and 17 Seconds in Dominion, like I had mentioned earlier. The silent communication and disengage. Of course, we all talk about that one because that is one of the best 35 seconds in Star Trek history, where Picard and Beverly only look at each other on the bridge of the Titan, and it just confirms that he is the father of Jack, and it was absolutely amazing. And of course, teasing the boys in quality of life. So of course, there's a few of those of the best Beverly moments. There was so many different moments that you guys brought in, and those were just the few that I decided to showcase. But yeah, like I said, you guys aren't wrong. Like all the scenes that Beverly's in, we enjoy every second of it, and we have fun. And there's nothing that Gates doesn't do that we just, you know, go towards. Like we just absolutely love this character for different reasons. And so anytime she's on our screen, we absolutely have fun. So but yeah, I'm sorry if I almost broke you guys with that question. So my apologies. So I did also want to have a little bit of fun. I did have this one more moment with you guys, and I wanted to have fun of asking you guys a question about me. So Gates did this once or twice. I know she did it with Tawny. I can't remember who else she had done it with, but I feel like she did this a couple of times. And she had done it on her podcast, and it was two truths and a lie. And it's really to kind of break the ice, get to know whoever you're speaking with. And so I gave you guys three options and between all my social media accounts, and I had you guys, just see which one you think is the lie. So I believe I had a total of 18 votes, so nothing huge, but it was definitely a close race. So here we go, guys. So the first one, the band Switchfoot regularly ate at my cafeteria. 28% of you said that was the lie. Next one was I was an accidental extra in the movie Transformers. 33% of you think that's the lie. And I won a bowling contest and was on the news. 39% think of you, so that's the lie. So that one's the winner. You guys think this is the lie out of all those three. I think, like I said, it was very, very close. It was only 18 votes, but I had a hard time trying to think of something. And so I really had to think of something that you guys might be tripped up on a little bit. And yeah, I think it kind of worked. So first I'm going to tell you one of the truths. And yeah, the band Switchfoot regularly ate at my cafeteria. I went to a private school in California, and this is really at the height of their career. A Walk to Remember came out like the year before I went to school. And there they were. They would show up once a week because they knew one of the students there. And so I guess they were great friends, and they used to come and visit and hang out. I'm not going to lie, though. My cafeteria was pretty awesome and our food was amazing. So I think that's where that's why they kept coming by. But yeah, so I think I'll just go ahead and tell you real fast what the other truth was. I won a bowling contest. It was on the news. That is the truth. You do your own little thing of like, oh, there's a contest going on, like this comment, blah, blah, blah. And what it was a new bowling alley was opening where I live. And I got to be the first bowler during their soft opening. And the media was there, the newspapers were there, the mayor, we did the ribbon cutting. They took a picture of me bowling. Now I'm a decent bowler. Like I actually have my own shoes and ball and all that stuff. And I love to bowl, but I'm not like, I don't break 200. I don't go that far, but I think I'm pretty good. So yeah, it was lots of fun and it was very interesting. But yeah, that was the truth, guys. So unfortunately, those I think it was like 39%. Sorry to disappoint you, but yes, the lie was I was an accidental extra in the movie Transformers, which it could have happened. And the reason why I said that is because they were making the movie in California. That big fight scene on the freeway was actually the 210 freeway, which was near where I lived, and I used to take the freeway constantly. And I did see this outline of a transformer. I want to say it was Optimus. Can't really remember. Maybe it was Bumblebee, but it was an outline on the back of a truck and it was covered in tarp. And I was like, that's a transformer passing me by. And they were getting ready to shut down the freeway and do the movie. So almost an accidental extra, but not quite. So yeah, it's fun. Sometimes that happens in California. You'll just kind of run into that kind of stuff. But yeah, I hope that was fun for you guys. I had a lot of fun. I did want to kind of mention, as we're here for the second anniversary of Crusher Convo, no one really guessed. And here's all this right here, and then here's all over here. I had asked you guys when I first did my little Lacars border, what do these numbers mean? What do they mean? Have no idea. I did reveal that the 7729 right there is Will's birthday. That was yesterday. I had posted about it. So yeah, 729 is Will Wheaton's birthday. I had a couple of people try to guess. Kristen, bless her, like she tried so hard. She actually did guess a couple of them. And so she got stickers because A for effort and pretty darn good for even getting a couple of these. I guess I'll just go ahead and go down here. So right here, 013, that is part of October 13th, which is Beverly Crusher's birthday. So the 0 is part of October, obviously 10. 47, pretty easy. I think Larry Nemechek would get that one. That is the Star Trek repetitive number of just let's have fun and put 47 in everything. So that's where that comes from. Of course, trying to put my finger all the way over here. There we go. So 1987 is the year that TNG started. 22, this one's a hard one, guys. So Beverly Crusher's like security clearance, I guess you want to call it, was Crusher 22 Beta Charlie. G2, there you go. And 80 is, I took a guess, okay, ish, the year Jack was born. It's probably 80, 81, who knows? The whole year is kind of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, whatever, when it comes to his birthday and his age. I picked 80 because it was the closest to making him 23 years old, is what they said in Picard. So anyway, so those are what those numbers represent. And had fun putting those together. I think it was a little hard. I knew the 22 was going to be a little bit hard for people to guess, but yeah, I did have fun with that. So, and I did want to really quick mention, we did get Gates and Will back as Beverly and Wesley in season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy. It was such a delight to see Will back as Wesley, especially because the fans have wanted to see this for so long, and it was well worth the wait. And of course, this had clearly been going for the last 4 years. I think Will had said that he was been keeping this, or almost 4 years. So he knew he was coming back as Wesley, but we just didn't know when we were going to be able to see it. So it was just a pleasant surprise, and it was exactly what we wanted. And of course, it was a pleasant surprise to have Gates come on for a couple of those scenes to tug on those heartstrings a bit. And of course, we got the reunion we always wanted. Now, if you haven't seen season 2, please go watch it. The entire season is fantastic, especially for the TNG and Voyager fans. There's some Janeway and Chakotay stuff. We got Beverly and Wesley. We got a whole Doctor Who theme going on. I mean, and if you're a Coda fan, if you guys read the Litverse and you're a Coda fan, this whole season is a package of goodness. Like, I enjoyed it so much. I had just barely saw Prodigy when Netflix bought it. So when they were like, oh, it got canceled and it was off Paramount, I was like, oh crap, I'm never going to see Prodigy, because I was trying to go in order, taking way too long, by the way. And I finally finished Voyager. I'm now on Enterprise. And so it was going to take me a hot second to get to Prodigy, and then it was gone. And so I was so worried. So when Netflix picked it up, I watched it like instantly because I was like, I better watch it now because I just don't know what's going to happen. So when season 2 came out, I had been tweeting about, I wonder if Beverly Crusher might show up because this was around the time she would have like a toddler Jack, right? And so Lower Decks did make a mention about her being an ex Starfleet officer when Nick Locarno was going after people. So I was like, okay, cool. So they're kind of mentioning when she left and when she had Jack. Like, we really want to know what those 20 years are about. So these shows were kind of giving us little snippets. I remember tweeting to Aaron Walke a bunch of times, and all he kept showing me was his eye emoji tweet that he does to everybody. And I was like, what does that mean? And I think his last one was like, you're just gonna have to watch. And I was like, okay, I don't want to get excited, but I'm getting excited. And so that's what I did. So season 2 dropped. It just so happened to be my day off, and I binged the whole thing. When Wesley Crusher came out, I screamed. I was like, oh my gosh. Actually, I screamed when I saw the statues of the traveler's species or whatever. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the traveler. It has to be Wesley. Wesley's coming out. And then to have Beverly show up and to see her just sad about Picard, his priority was the Romulan relocation, and it was like, I'm not a priority, but the Romulans are. Like, that's how I took it, and I was like, "Ooh, that Picard." And then I was like, "Oh, I wonder if they're gonna show Jack." Now, of course, they didn't show Jack, and if you watch my interview with Aaron Walke, you'll know why. But it was it was just so good, and it was just so nice to hear Gates and Will, like, I know they didn't record together, but it was just in the same space, right? Like, it was just so wonderful and so exciting. But yeah, I absolutely loved it so much, and I know all the fans did, and it wasn't just because of the Wesley stuff, it was the overall season. They packed in so much stuff. If you follow, oh, I can't remember his handle, but York, he goes and I'm probably saying his name wrong. Please forgive me. But he, tries to connect the dots, right? So he's like, oh, they mentioned this and it came from this episode. And, this statue was in someone's quarters in this episode. And now you see it over here. Love it. Love it. I eat that stuff up. And he mentioned, and I don't know why I didn't think of this, is the first time you see Wesley coming out talking to the kids, and he's all like, something about it being drafty. He's all like, does anyone need a sweater? I got a bunch of them. Now, I took it as a joke because Wesley had a bunch of sweaters in season 1, which was probably part of the joke. The last scene that he had with Wesley and Beverly, she said, bring something warm on those other planes of existence. I mean, come on, guys. Like, this is amazing. The stuff that they connect, you're like, what? And I'm all, the brothers, the Hageman brothers and Walke and all the writers and everybody that was involved. I have no words, but I'm a grateful fan. And I just want to let you know. And this is why I podcast. Like, I love this kind of stuff, right? It is so much fun. It is just amazing to see this stuff. It makes it interesting. The longest sci-fi franchise that we have is Doctor Who, right? 1963 and going strong. Star Trek is not far behind. And the one of the greatest things when they connect is to, because everyone thinks it's nostalgia when they're bringing up other characters, past characters, or ships, or whatever. No, it's history. These characters are what paved the road for these future seasons of these shows. We just had the final episode of the series 1 of the 15th Doctor. And spoiler alert, by the way, if no one has seen it, but there are scenes where you see different things of like River Song's sonic screwdriver, or Tom Baker's scarf, or random items throughout all these years And it's what makes Doctor Who, and it's what made it exciting. I think they even had the sign of where it was like, no singing carolers from Husbands of River Song with the 12th Doctor. Like, they thought of everything. And it was such great to see because those were what was important, and it made sense to the story. Same thing what we're watching now. This isn't nostalgia. It is part of the story. They are connecting the dots. The whole point of like season 3 of Picard was to bring the team back together because that's what made him the best. Picard would not be Picard without his team, right? He would not have been able to defeat the Borg Queen without his team. That was his crew. That was the whole point of it. He was just going to go off and die and be alone and not even think twice about it because he was depressed. Don't get me wrong. But when he finally was like, "No, I need these people and we're better together." It's the whole point of Star Trek. And that's what I love about this franchise and why I do what I do, why I love Beverly Crusher and why I am doing this podcast and social media and conventions and everything like that is because this show, this franchise just represents so much and it does it so well. And, again, one of the things that we've mentioned before is that Star Trek is about hope, right? Hope for the future, a better future. And what great way of doing that is learning from these characters who have just gone through so much and striving. And I think that's what made, especially season 2 of Prodigy, so special. So sorry I went on a rant, but it just makes my heart happy. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now. So I am going to let you know, guys, that my redhead alert is letting you know that the next episode that I will have is this Friday. At 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are going live with Danny from Comics and she is a huge nerd. Like, I mean, she's a card carrying nerd. She's a founding member. Let's put it that way. And she knows her stuff and she loves her Star Trek. And we are going to talk about the tragedy of Sub Rosa. I think one of the things here is that everyone knows how much I love Sub Rosa for different reasons. I know it's the laughing stock of of Star Trek. It is, I think, named the second worst episode of TNG, just after I think it was Shades of Grey. I have a lot to say, and I really want to talk to someone about it. And I think this is kind of the time to do it. I I definitely like to mention how Sub Rosa is just to me an addiction story, and I think Gates did it beautifully. And I just want to just keep screaming to the rooftops about it. But yeah, hopefully you guys will join us live this Friday. You guys are getting a double feature this week between the bonus episode of our second anniversary and now this. But it's going to be so much fun. I will say you can find me on any audio podcast, especially on Apple, Spotify, Good Pods. You can buy merch at TeePublic. You can buy me a coffee if you scan that code that is on my border. And of course, you'll find all this information at crusherconvo.com. I also want to mention that we are in order to get more, content and people to find us, we would really like, or I would really like if you would like and subscribe. I'm trying to do this, guys. It's really hard to do this with the camera. There it is, right there. Like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you enjoy all the content that I am bringing out, I am very glad because I love creating it. So, yeah, that's it. I think I did pretty good. I think for the second anniversary of Crusher Convo, we are doing just fine. I'm happy to be back. It's been an interesting year, and I just thank everyone who's been supportive and who's had my back and who has encouraged me to come back and do this and just talk about Star Trek and Beverly Crusher. So I thank all of you guys for that love and support. But yeah, this is so much fun. Love you guys. And on to next year. And everyone at Star Trek Las Vegas, I am so sad I do not get to hang out with you this year, but have a blast. Going to a Star Trek convention is just, and definitely just enjoy your time. It goes by real fast, but you will be exhausted. Okay. So anyways, guys, yeah, just live long and prosper and have a good night. Bye.
Crusher out.